Say it now. Say the obvious prediction right now.
The Stars are going to win the Stanley Cup.
Hey guys, welcome back to Starcastic Remarks alongside Chris. My name is Ryan. We're the official Dallas Stars podcast of THPN. Thank you to DraftKings Sportsbook. Go use that promo code THPN. The Dallas Stars lose to the Chicago Blackhawks in a very strange game. I don't know what to take from this, Chris, but they do lose 3-2 in Chicago at the United Center. There's lots of things we can talk about with this game, but let me get your initial thoughts as we start this episode today.
Yeah, it's a long shot for Chicago to win that game. A lot of things have to go right for them for it to happen, and every single one of those things went right for them. I mean, their top guys made big plays when they had to. Their goalie stood on his head and maybe got a little bit of extra push from the officials tonight. So everything that had to happen for them to beat this team happened, and the Stars got beat. They got trapped.
So the expected goals in this game today, Chris, were 4.1 to 0.9 in favor of the Stars. So, and that's straight from Dmitry Filipovic, who is very well known on X there. And the shot attempts were 90-33 for the Stars, and they had a 41-16 advantage in quality scoring chances, and then also had 44 shots compared to the Chicago Blackhawks. I believe it was 22. So I don't really know what to take from this game, Chris. There's a lot. Here's what I'm not at. There's a lot of people on X and on social media that are very upset. I don't think that's fair, to be totally honest with you. Could they have been better on their scoring chances? Absolutely. Could they have maybe played a little bit better than they did? Absolutely. Did they get goalied? Yes. Did they have bounces not go their way? Yes. There's just it just seemed like the favor of the hockey gods were not in their favor today.
Yeah, there's definitely things the Stars could have done to still win this hockey game. The power plays are the one thing you really look at as the missed opportunity there. But it's not like the Stars played a bad hockey game. It was a weird hockey game that happened today. They couldn't bury their chances, and Chicago buried all three of theirs. So it's a weird one.
Right.
That's going to happen. hockey's a chaotic game. That's why you like hockey. And sometimes chaos can make weird score lines like this.
So unfortunately, the 8-game win streak for the Dallas Stars does come to an end, not against the team we expected if it was going to end. And we have to just kind of go on and move on and see what happens in this game against the Colorado Avalanche. And now this game appears to be even more consequential in the fact that the Stars don't even get a point out of this. They still do have a 3-point lead over the Colorado Avalanche heading into tomorrow night. So even with a regulation loss against the Avalanche, the Stars still have the number 1 spots in the division.
Yeah, win
Regardless. So
tonight would have really taken a lot of pressure off of that game. And now, I mean, it's still not like it's the game for the Central Division, but you can put a pretty strong nail in their coffin if the Stars win tonight. And if they lose, it's a two-headed horse race down to the end.
I mean, it is fully in the Stars' control. It is fully in the Stars' control. If they can just win a couple of games, if they can beat Colorado in this last big game that they have other than the Jets, then I think they win the division. I think that
yeah.
yes, I think that the President's Trophy is kind of out of question at this point, especially with the loss today, which is kind of unfortunate. But at the same time, it's not that big of a deal. It would have been cool to get the President's Trophy, but the thing about this particular game today, Chris, that really frustrated me was the reffing. The reffing was
Officiating.
not good. Reffing, officiating, however you want to call it.
Well,
So
one of them is a word and one isn't.
reffing, officiating, I don't care. You know what I mean. What was the most frustrating thing about the officiating tonight, Chris?
I mean, the lack of calls in the first period was definitely frustrating. The no calls in the second period as well. I mean, Miro Hastings got his stick stolen out of his hands, which led to that second goal, and he was about to get a penalty after getting the stick stolen out of his hands. So yeah, it's a little bit frustrating night from them. And then the incorrect call on the first reviewed goal is just crazy. How do you do that? That's pretty unprofessional. And then the subsequent double minor on the final Marchment embellishment. I mean, that's just the other ref came over and decided, hey, that's not a trip. I mean, I don't know who that one ref was, but it was the guy who made the incorrect call after the review. But boy, it seemed like he was an intern or something, because that was crazy.
I'm still a little bit questioning on that goal where Maverick Bork was shoved into Mrazek. I mean, I just don't understand what he was supposed to do at that point. I think it should have been called. It was a good goal. And I just don't. It's not like he was, forcing his way into Peter Mrazek. His momentum got him in there, and then he was shoved into the goal by, I think it was Tenorti, behind him. So I just, again, that was a frustrating part of this game that could have changed the tide of the game.
I'm a little bit less strong opinionated on that one. I think he initially does go into the crease and make contact with the goalie of his own volition. He does get pushed in afterwards, but the initial contact, I think, was not pushed in. It's definitely, I think it's a 50-50 though on that one. And I think Call on the Ice is going to win that one, or at least should win that one 10 out of 10 times. So that one's a toss-up in my opinion.
Okay, and as for the second goal, I don't even think that Ben touched it. Did he even touch it?
He did touch it. Yeah, they've given him the goal. They've given him the goal. It was Miro's initially, and then they have given it to him now. But that one was right at the crossbar too.
See, I thought that one was going to be called back because I mean, just the way that Ben was reacting, he wasn't super, excited about it or anything. I thought that he thought it was too high. So I was a little surprised to kind of see that, but it is what it is. And we'll just have to move on from this game for this. But What I do want to discuss also is the Stars power play today did not do them any favors at all. They had a 5-on-3 for 55 seconds, and then they had a really big time power play with less than 4 minutes remaining in the third period in order to tie the game, and they were not able to do it.
And that's the bigger one, in my opinion, is not being able to get that clutch goal on the last minute power play. I mean, you're given that. The Hawks handed that to you with just the stupidest stick placement you can imagine. So to not take advantage there is super frustrating. When you're playing a team that you are that much better than, you've got to find a way to put a puck in the net right there. I mean, that I don't know what the opposite of clutch is, but whatever that word is, they did it.
Unclutchiness.
Perfect. Thank you, Ryan. You're a wordsmith.
The other thing that's not being talked about a lot in today's game was the play of Wedgwood. They didn't really get a save from him tonight when they really needed one. Now, I don't think it was really all his fault, to be totally honest with you. But, especially based off of how they've been playing lately, I really would have liked to see him make at least one of those saves in order to keep the Stars in the game.
I mean, I want to agree. He did make a couple of not spectacular saves, but they were good saves on some 2-on-1s in front of his net. But those 3 shots, I mean, those are great plays by their best players. I mean, those are the best players on the Chicago, and they made great shots. That Bedard shot is disgusting. I mean, we didn't get to see it. I don't think we've seen it at all yet this year. And man, that is a ridiculous shot.
Now, the player that really frustrated me the most, and this might be surprising to some people, but for me, it was Thomas Harley. Thomas Harley did not have a good game today. He absolutely did not have a good game. And I believe there was one of the goals that he was directly responsible for the turnover that he gave. Now, his original turnover, they got it out of the zone, but it only went as far as the neutral zone. They came right back in. They scored the goal. So there was at least 4 opportunities that I saw in order for me to write in my notes that it was a really bad turnover by Harley. So he was the absolute, and I'll just go ahead and say it. He was my biggest loser tonight, Chris, because of all the bad turnovers he had.
Yeah, it was a little shocking too, and luckily it didn't really hurt him too much in the offensive zone. I don't think he played pretty well offensively tonight. But yeah, those are some big turnovers that he gave up.
One of the biggest things I also liked was the play of Kristanev. Kristanev has been
Very
playing
good.
a lot better the last couple of games. And even in today's game, he has been very good. And he's been more noticeable defensively playing next to Esa Lindell over there. So,
Yeah.
I mean, there's not a ton of positives in today's game, but that's definitely one of them.
Yeah, he definitely played exceptionally well. A couple of really big plays. I'll also give Lundqvist a couple of shots. He didn't play Harley at all tonight, but I saw him make 3 or 4 spectacular defensive plays, and then subsequently screw it up by making bad passes out of his own zone. But take what you get.
I didn't think he was as bad as Harley was today. I thought Harley was a lot worse.
No, Lundqvist was great. He just made like 1 or 2 bad passes. I was just giving him crap.
Okay. You have to give somebody crap. So, the other thing that's kind of coming into question today is some of the coaching decisions by Pete DeBoer in this game in particular. You're on an 8-game winning streak. You have the playoffs coming up. You have some guys who probably could use some rest, and he made I don't want to say he made questionable decisions, but the decisions that he made today did not work out in the favor of the Dallas Stars, I guess you could say.
That's the correct way to put it, I think. You can't say there were wrong decisions, because if it works out and the Stars win this game and they have 2 players that are well rested for the game against Colorado, you'd call him a genius. So he took a calculated risk and it didn't work out, because that, again, as soon as Sagan went out of the lineup there, the Marchment Duchesne line just did not look like it could click the same way. Even while Johnson was playing good on that line in the first half of the game. So it was a calculated risk, didn't work out. Oh well, the next game is more important, honestly. Anyway, it's crazy to say that, but the next game is a 4-point game. It really is. So it's more important. I think it's still worth it as long as we win the next game. But now there's more pressure on that Colorado game for sure.
And then obviously one of those coaching decisions that he did make was to put Maverick Bork into the lineup today. He starts on a line with Jamie Benn and Stankoven. In the third period, he gets switched back up to the second line so that Johnston can come down. And I say come down. That line's been ridiculous. I guess the pseudo second line, I guess. I don't know. And then Johnston plays the third period with Stankoven and Benn, and they get some opportunities there in the third. But I think it was too little too late for Pete DeBoer to make that decision there. But the main thing I wanted to ask was, what did you see out of Maverick Bork today? Did you like the way that he played?
Yeah, I thought he was fine. That one defensive play back in his own end at the top of the
That was
slot to
very
break
good.
up a pass was a really good defensive play, and that I think shows off what Bork is really more about. He's a good two-way player, same way as Johnson, maybe even a little bit more defensively inclined. He was really eager to get a goal today. You saw him take a couple of shots that were probably ill-advised, just trying to get stuff on net, which if you're the rookie, you got nothing to lose here. I mean, might as well try that. But I think it's just going to be good for him to get that first taste. And hopefully next time he's in an NHL game, hopefully it doesn't have to be this year, but it might be. He's a little bit more calm and a little bit more comfortable when he slots in there. He doesn't have those jitters that you get the first time you're playing.
I honestly liked his game. I thought it was okay. And now again, he's obviously playing against the worst team in the NHL today, and that probably helps out a little bit. But still, like you said, James, the first play you mentioned was the defensive play, which is kind of funny because he's more known as an offensive player. So that's good to see from him, and that probably gives him some kudos with the coaching staff moving forward that he can play defensively and be entrusted with that, and not just in the offensive zone or whatever. So that's good.
Well, Bork is
Um,
definitely a good defensive guy. He's playing on penalty kill in Texas.
yeah, he has been this year, especially. He wasn't last year, I don't
No,
believe. I don't think he
last year
was.
he hasn't. This year that's been his biggest step forward in his career is defensive ability this season. So that's definitely a highlight to his game.
One of the things I was a little frustrated about, and Ardell kind of pointed it out here
Oh
as
my
well.
goodness.
There at the end of the third period, Jason Robertson had an opportunity to put the puck in the net, and I mean, he was slashed, he was hooked, he was held, and there was just nothing there. And I don't care that it's the last minute and a half of the period, but the thing is that when you have a team that dominated the Blackhawks like the Stars did today, let's be honest, they dominated the Blackhawks today. They got goalied and they didn't take care of their chances, and Chicago took care of their chances. Like Chicago literally had 3 scoring chances in the second period, scored on all of them, had 5 shots. That was it. So they had more goals that went in the net than didn't. So I just feel like there should have been more power plays in favor of the Dallas Stars today. That seemed like a bunch of things that could have been called and weren't.
And especially on Robertson. Robertson had 3 or 4 times where he could have gotten penalties called throughout the game. I agree that last one was the most egregious, but there was plenty of times calls could have been made tonight. And that's why I'm saying this officiating crew was just bad all around. I mean, it was just not a good day for those officials. I don't know who they are. Maybe I should go look so I can be scared next time we see their names, because yikes.
I'm not quite sure what we see out of this group. I don't think this group will get put together again, and I definitely don't think we will see them in the playoffs. Let's just say that. We might. I mean, you might have to see them for one of the playoff series, obviously, but moving forward, we'll see what happens. But anything else that we need to discuss here, James or Christian? Man, I'm off today. I apologize.
Yikes, you're worse than the officials, Ryan.
Yeah, I know, right? Goal, no goal.
No, I'll give my biggest winner, biggest loser, I guess. Biggest winner is going to be Johnston. He didn't even. I don't think he got a point tonight. No, he didn't. But he's just. He looked like the most impactful guy in the ice to me. I mean, he's flying all over the place. Those dangles in the middle of the neutral zone just to completely shut down any kind of pressure that Chicago had. He looks so in control, especially when the Stars aren't playing at their best. That's when Johnson looks his best.
I'm going to give mine to the super obvious one here for the biggest winner, and that's Jamie Benn. Jamie Benn, he's got 8 goals in the last 9 games. He's he's been inconsequential the last couple of weeks for this team, and he's been ridiculous. So hopefully that continues going into the playoffs, and he's probably playing the best hockey he has in the last 3 or 4 years. And it's coming at the right time. And on top of that, he's a 20-goal scorer again. So now this team has 8 20-goal scorers. It's the first time in franchise history that this has happened. And I think this season, there's not another team that has anywhere close to that. I think the next team has 5, maybe 6. So I guess pseudo biggest winner to the Stars offense, even though they didn't really show up that much in the game today.
Yeah, you already gave your biggest loser, so I'll go ahead and give mine, and it's either Garrett Rank or Morgan McPhee. Don't know those are the refs. So
I was like, I don't remember hearing those guys' names. I was thinking they were Chicago players, and I was just like, oh, that makes some sense.
Nope. So goal, no goal, clarification. I don't know. Nobody knew what was going on. Those guys definitely didn't. Yikes.
Well, and I guess the real biggest winner, and the patriarch himself, our dad, kind of has it here. Unfortunately, Mrazek is the biggest winner today, and there is a lot of truth to that because without him, they don't stand a chance. The Blackhawks don't stand a chance. So
and it's true the Stars didn't do a great job of bearing their chances, but a lot of those still go in most of the time. Mrazek still had an outstanding game.
So to kind of let's wrap this up in a bow real quick and then talk about Colorado for a moment. But I don't really know how I feel about this game, Chris. I probably should have expected myself to be upset, but I'm not really all that upset about this loss. Mostly just because, I mean, you can't be all that mad at them. You can be mad at them for the fact they lost to Chicago, but dude, they were just on an 8-game winning streak, and that was the franchise record. I mean, come on and give them a little bit of grace here.
Yeah.
But at the same time,
I'm only upset at the power play. All the rest of the game, I chalk up to Murphy's Law. I mean, all that was the worst possible thing that could happen.
That's a perfect way to explain it, Chris. Yeah, Murphy's Law, 100% in this game today. So, okay, now here's the nice thing, like moving and looking forward at the Colorado game tomorrow night. Now the win streak is not hanging over their heads, right? So the pressure to continue the win streak is not there. There will still be pressure from them because this is probably going to be the biggest game of the season.
Yes.
But that's a little bit of extra pressure off their shoulders. What do you expect to see from this team in the game against Colorado?
I mean, I think we're going to see like some crazy good effort, especially at the very beginning. I'm really worried that they're going to run out of gas come the third period, and we're going to see a repeat of what we've seen against Colorado so far this year. I mean, playing a game on a back-to-back in Denver is like the worst possible thing you can do. The elevation does affect you. It affects how much oxygen you can get into your lungs, and it slows people down. That is 100% true. So I think the Stars are going to start off hot, and they better pile up the goals because I think they're going to hit a wall sometime in the third period.
We're going to have to rely on Ottinger to be our best player in the game
third period
tomorrow.
For sure. I think that's true.
Yep. And now here is the other thing too, is Colorado will be playing their third game in 4 nights when they play the Dallas Stars tomorrow night. This is their only day off. They played on Friday and they played on Thursday. So I don't know if they'll be fully rested, but they will have a little bit of tiredness in their game as well as the Dallas Stars. So I think it really is just going to be dependent on, are the Stars going to be able to capitalize on their chances against the Colorado Avalanche like they weren't able to do today?
Yeah.
So,
and you're going to be a lot more upset at this loss if you also lose to Colorado. So that's right. You really can't let that happen.
Right. So, and maybe that's why I'm a little bit more level-headed about it today, that this loss, if they can just pull out the win tomorrow night. So, okay, I think that's going to do it. Anything else?
Nope. It's going to be a dogfight tomorrow.
All right. Thank you, all of you who are listening live with us. We appreciate y'all. We have had up to 35 people listening live. There's even more of you who are listening afterwards. Go and check out sarcasticremarks.com. That's the website. Thank you to DraftKings Sportsbook. As always, that promo code is THPN. And as always, we appreciate you guys allowing us to build this community that we have. And it's been so much fun to do this. And despite the loss today, the Stars still have a very good opportunity going into the playoffs to win the whole shebang. So there's always going to be some silver lining for the rest of the regular season at least. And then we can talk about the playoffs when the playoffs get here. Along with Chris, my name is Ryan. We'll catch you guys on the flip side. Hope you guys have a good, fantastic morning, afternoon, evening, whenever you guys are listening. We'll be back with you guys again tomorrow night when the Dallas Stars take on the Colorado Avalanche.